Hello, Gooners and Goonettes, and welcome back to the Chunky Kinks channel. Today, I'm diving into one of the most hyped visual novels in recent memories, Forbidden Fantasy. Before we start, just a quick warning, this is an adult game as usual, and we're going to discuss mature content. So if you're underage or not into that kind of thing, this is your time to bow out, but if you're ready, let me dive into my honest review of Forbidden Fantasy. Let's start out, as we always start out, with the story, of course. Forbidden Fantasy is an adult visual novel that blends together fantasy, a little bit of mystery, some steamy moments. It's set in a mythical world as you play a character caught up in a whirlwind of secrets, forbidden desires. The game is narratively driven, of course, by the choices you make. The choices don't seem to be that dire when I played the game. There was usually only one or two choices, and usually the outcome of those choices didn't seem terribly high stakes. They didn't seem like it would be a crazy different story or a different reaction that you thought you were going to get. That gives the game some sort of replayability because, I mean, you can just go back and choose the dialogue options that you didn't choose before. So that's gives it a little bit more replayability in that aspect. Overall, the story is pretty cut and dry. One of the negatives about the game that I think there's not a lot of negatives about this game, but one of them for sure is the length of the story. The story itself is about 4 hours or less, maybe 5 hours or less. It is not that long for AVN standard. So if you're looking for a shorter game, maybe even a starter AVN, this could be honestly one of the most perfect starter AVNs for you because like I said, the choices, while there is choices within the game, they don't feel like that demanding in how it changes the story. And it is relatively short. So that would be, if you want to do just a sit down in and out type of AVN, this is honestly might be the perfect game for you for the story aspect of that. The characters of Forbidden Fantasy feel, I mean, they feel pretty engageable and relatable for the most part. The game does a pretty good job of that. The female characters, especially, are well designed and they both have distinct personalities. You basically have this little tiny harem of two girls. Whether it's like the shyer little assassin girl named Zara or the more, as it feels, outgoing elf girl Arlian, they have a little something for everyone. You can pursue one of them, you can pursue both of them, but either way, the characters are split to where they both feel as if they're the different side of the same coin, if that makes sense. One's a little adventurous, one's a little bit more cheeky, one's a little bit more shy, one's a little bit more reserved, one's a little bit more outgoing. So like there's a good push and pull with both of your girls. And then there's other people in the game as well, like the Demon Queen that gives a little something for you. The MC himself feels fine for the most part. Everyone else as the background characters, they make pretty good sense within the story and the world around you. So overall, the characters in the game are they're basically what you expect for AVN. Nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary, just basic characters that keep pushing the story forward. I will say though, as a very, very good positive for the characters, other than the MC himself, the protagonist, the voice acting in this game is absolutely gorgeous. Like whoever did the voice acting needs a raise because all the voice acting lines for every character, be it Arlian, Zara, the Demon Queen, even the men in the game, like Amon, are so great. They really feel like they bring that character to life, especially during even some of the more explicit scenes with the moans and groans that people make. You can really hear the almost like a passion in their voice that really sets a great tone for all the voice acting within. So the voice acting is an absolute plus for this game. Some AVNs, I should say a lot of AVNs don't usually have voice acting, so the fact that this one had voice acting, it makes it stand out in that department very well. Overall, the gameplay wise, then in Forbidden Fantasy sticks to the classic, just visual novels, dialogue choices, branching paths. The choices you do make, as I said earlier, does affect the story, but it doesn't seem like it crazily affects the story, but it's pretty linear in terms of the narrative. But there are multiple routes that you can go back and explore. Now let's get to one of the biggest pluses of this game, the art. Visually, Forbidden Fantasy has a very distinct, bold, colorful style, and oh my god, is this game polished. The graphics on this game, we're talking 8K resolution right down the barrel. The graphics for this AVN might be some of the best, if not the best, that I've ever seen. I said earlier that this might be a great starter AVN, and in my mind, I think it's still great. It's still a short story. It's easy to get into, cut and dry, in and out. But honestly, if this was my first AVN and I saw graphics like this and went to any other AVN, I'd be kind of disappointed. That's how good these graphics are. These graphics, honestly, I have not seen anything like it in an AVN. The love, the care, the attention to detail that the graphics have. Don't even get me started on the animation of some of the more explicit scenes as well. So well done. Everything moves so fluidly, just like water, baby. I didn't see one single problem with any of the animation, and no frame rate drops. I will say there is a message on top of the screen while I was playing. It said, like, if your frame rates drop, please lower the graphic quality. I think you could have done without that the whole game. Like, obviously, my game wasn't lagging or tearing, or the graphics were always visually beautiful all time. So, I mean, it was a little distracting sometimes having that little error message up there, or little optional message up there, I guess you could say. Not really an error message, but like the graphics of this game, the animation is an absolute 11 out of 10. It is the best that I have ever seen in an AVN. Other than that, the story, the characters, the graphics, and everything. Forbidden Fantasy is a solid game. Like I said, there is pros and cons to both of them. You know, the story a little short. That could be a pro though if you were just looking to get in and out. The my biggest complaint of the game is that, you know, the dialogue choices. While there is dialogue choices, you know, it seems pretty cut and dry. And if you're looking for a more like laissez-faire, explicit AVN, there's nothing too crazy about any of the sex scenes. Also, it's pretty straightforward. I don't want to call it boring or mundane, but it is just a very simply put AVN. You know, the sex scenes aren't anything crazy, no BDSM, no hardcore. And they're pretty straightforward, just you, a woman, or like there's a threesome here and there, and that's about as hardcore as it gets. There's nothing crazy. So if you're looking for just an honestly a nice, relaxing AVN with out of that outer worldly sex scenes of someone doing a 360 ooga booga, doing tricks on it, then this might be a great game for you. In and out, under 5 hours. It's pretty straightforward sex scenes, pretty straightforward story, pretty straightforward choices. If that's all you're looking for, this might be the perfect AVM for you. Pairing that with the graphics, this might be beautiful. But like I said, if you're looking for something, you know, longer, a little bit more character development, more high quality, I guess, sex scenes where more things are happening, then this is probably not it for you. But if you're looking in and out, this is a great game. So overall, I give Forbidden Fantasy a nice 8 out of 10 for right now. This is, I believe, only like the first season or episode, whatever you want to call it, because at the end, spoiler, there was a little cliffhanger that there would be more to this game, but this is just all that is out for the game right now. So for right now, for me, for all the positives I listed for the game, it's pretty hard to have a lot of negatives when you're a little bit short of a story, so I'm going to stick with my solid 8 out of 10. And that's it today. That is Forbidden Fantasy. What'd you think? Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you later. Gooners and goonettes, keep it up, baby.